Is gentle parenting the same as authoritative? What do you think? There's a lot of discussion right now about gentle parenting. There's some people who probably are still doing it, but many people who are leaving it. Many people wondering, why is it having problems? What type of parenting is this anyway? So we're going to talk about gentle parenting here, what model of parenting it is, and I'll help you understand that authoritative question. First, let's talk about authoritative parenting. What does that even mean? Authoritative parenting is planned parenting. It's parenting where the parent knows who they are, they know their role, they know the role of the child. They know they need to do teaching to their children, and they don't shy away from teaching moments. They also are parents who make sure that they proactively prepare their children for what's expected of them. So there's not going to be tons of surprises with authoritative parenting. They're also going to be parents who care about their children, they understand their children, but they also expect their children to take responsibility for themselves. They expect that their children will be able to learn cause and effect, that they will be able to self-direct themselves a little bit if they have been trained. So this type of parenting sounds pretty good, right? In fact, it's a type of parenting that I teach. This whole channel called Teaching Self-Government is a type of authoritative parenting. It's what I call traditional strict parenting, actually. So one of the 15 parenting books that I've written is this little one called Popular Parenting Methods. And it talks about the different types of parenting: modern progressive parenting, bully fear-based parenting, and traditional strict parenting. Some people label these as permissive parenting, and then authoritarian parenting, or militant or aggressive, they might say. That's the bully fear-based type. And then there's the authoritative parenting, where it's like, you know who you are, and you make a plan for yourself, and you teach your children what the plan is, and then you follow through. And you're able to weather a lot of the storms better with an authoritative parenting. So the main answer to your question, is gentle parenting authoritative? Well, let me just spell out what gentle parenting is. So let's talk about what gentle parenting is. So gentle parenting is an approach to parenting that was actually started back in 2007 by Sarah Oakwell Smith. She was a British author. She ended up writing a book actually in 2015 called Gentle Parenting. And the book really went deeply into, emotional understanding of children and making sure that you were there for them, that you cared about them. And I think, authoritarian parenting really comes off as, I don't care, shape up. But authoritative parenting, when you're still teaching your child, but you're still caring, that should come through as caring. In fact, you should be very bonded to your children. You should feel closer to your child during and after a correction than you even did before. And that's something that I teach how to do. And if you've got the right plan in place, that's absolutely possible. If you are doing gentle parenting, then likely what happened is you didn't hit that place. Now, she, I think, originally intended for her book, Gentle Parenting, to be an authoritative type of parenting. However, it really was understood as more of a modern progressive approach, a permissive type of parenting, where you're just going into the emotions with somebody. In fact, people became very emotionally entitled. That's why people have ditched that parenting movement. And they've said, this doesn't work. My child is so disobedient. They're so entitled. They feel like everything should be their way. They don't take responsibility for anything. It's really led to a lot of parenting problems, actually. I think people were so afraid of authoritarian parenting that they jumped into gentle parenting with a modern progressive, like opposite end of the spectrum lens, this permissive lens, and it led to a lot of problems. But really the authoritative approach is the answer. So is gentle parenting authoritative? No. It's not. I think it was meant to be, but it's not understood as being that. In fact, even the author of the book, Gentle Parenting, said, I think I probably picked the wrong title because people really misunderstood it. So can you have gentleness in your parenting and still be effective in your teaching, correct the problems, use consequences, all those types of things? Yes. I don't know if the author intended this or not, but online with gentle parenting, people are very anti-consequences, as if you should be able to do anything and not have to accept accept consequences for yourself. In fact, sometimes they would talk about natural consequences, which is great. Natural consequences are part of life, but children don't really understand natural consequences as well. Like if you don't do the dishes when it was your dish night, how many days are you going to let the sink fill up? And are you going to really expect your child to eat on a dirty dish? Is that actually merciful, kind, caring, gentle, or is that actually slightly manipulative? What about if you run out of dishes? Are you going to make your child eat on the floor? You know, what kind of emotional pain are they going to then have when they have to do a whole week's worth of dishes? Or really, are you just going to do the dishes and go, oh, well? And so really you're accepting the consequence. I think a lot of the gentle parents were just accepting the consequence. If they were going to do straight logic, straight natural consequences, then if their child doesn't do the dishes when they're supposed to, then, well, soon the dishes would run out and that's it. But no family wants to deal with that. Instead, you know, what happens is a lot of teaching does not occur. And really the big focus was how the child feels. And if the child doesn't feel like doing the chore, if they don't like that chore, if they don't like an extra chore, if they don't like being corrected, then I guess they shouldn't have to. And so it led to a lot of emotional entitlement. So we have to come up with what to do instead, and coming up with a good solid plan really makes sense. So the teaching self-government approach gives you the skills and tools that you need so that you can maybe have a new plan, maybe a new script that's in your head so that you don't fall into some of your bad habits. You know, we're all just programmed people. We program ourselves, our parents program us, the media programs us, and then we get to decide what we're going to do. What programming are we going to follow? I programmed myself years ago as a treatment foster care parent to teach them certain skills, like how to follow instructions, how to accept no answers and criticism, how to accept consequences, how to disagree appropriately. And they changed, and people noticed. And then the BBC said, could we make a movie of your family and film it? And by the way, that's at my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. It's in the blog tab. You can see that full video there. And it was a huge success. It was the most watched episode they'd ever had of that program on the BBC. And it was because we were so calm, but they were so changed, and we weren't soft. We made them accept their consequences. And that went a long way for those two troubled 17-year-olds who were used to being oppositional. It was a big shift. And I love those kids forever. Wherever you are, Hannah and James, I love you. So I would like to share with you a gift that you can use to help you learn more about the Teaching Self-Government approach, because maybe you're going to be ready for that. There's an app. It's called the Teaching Self-Government app. It's free. It's got free charts in it that teach you about the 4 basic skills. It'll tell you all the steps. There's a podcast there and lots of resources, videos, articles, all kinds of things, as well as like there's a Nicholeen bot if you're part of the TSG community. There's also a free job jar function for kids. There's all kinds of great things there. And so you'll want to check that out. There's also on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, a free mini course called the Calm Parenting Toolkit. And that's a great way to get started in learning about some of the nuts and bolts of calmness and self-government. So check out that app, Teaching Self-Government app, in your App Store or Play Store today. And I'll see you there.